More than 20 years after wolves were reintroduced in Idaho, Idaho ranchers...
It's an educational story that needed told. The unspoken impact of the wolf reintroduction back into Idaho and its vast rangelands used for livestock grazing. The conflict now, nearly 25 years old, between wolves and livestock is now a 5-part video series posted to YouTube and produced by the Idaho Rangeland Resource Commission. Commission Executive Director Gretchen Hyde says a history lesson based on the real facts is what the project's goal is.
A 5-part series where we start with the history, before the reintroduction, how that came to be with the laws and and the settlement and all of that. Then the reintroduction, which, was very successful. And it just talked about bringing these animals in. The state did not concur, they did not allow it, but they had they were released on federal lands and in Yellowstone National Park. But of course, the animals didn't stay there. And that's really where the next phase is, those unintended consequences that basically the ranchers were told will never happen.
And the unintended consequences was the fact that after the introduction, even with all the denials, the population of wolves exploded.
But as the years go by, the impacts on the livestock industry have multiplied, and real science tells a disturbing story.
But there's been a couple of really good studies that we can go back to that talk about not just the death loss, but the conception rates, the production rates, how everything's really decreased. Cattle and sheep are coming off of the range way lighter than they have before. It's not widespread, it's not everywhere, but the few that get hit, it's impacting their business severely. What we hear from the environmental groups is ranchers just need to do more. And I think that's an unfair burden on a very small population who is feeding our public. We want local food, but yet we don't want to deal with the issues like this. And I think it's important that they understand the full picture.
Hyde says the general public needs to know all the impacts and habits of the wolf as the population grows and interactions with humans become more frequent.
You don't see these animals. They are nocturnal, they are sneaky, they are fast. We're standing in an area that had a depredation just recently, and there's not a lot of cover here. We're within a mile of a house, and there was a cow taken down, and this is happening closer and closer to people.
The entire 5-part series can be viewed on YouTube with a search using keywords "Life on the Range." For the Voice of Idaho Agriculture, I'm Steve Ritter.